there isn't gonna be a Titanfall beta for the PC. Can anyone guess why?
Because they don't like you.
I'm pretty sure that's it.
Oh, I was just.
There's an article from Nathan Grayson on Kotaku about how Titanfall 2, the open beta, is coming to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One this weekend. Download it, Mark. Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
But
Get away
will
with taking
not
the
be
Xbox
coming
to fucking
to
Starbucks.
PC. And, well, I thought the most interesting part about this article is that the people at Respawn basically blame PC users.
Mm-hmm. They do it politely, though.
Yeah, they do it rather politely, and that was a little hyperbolic of me. Basically, what they're trying to say is it's really hard to optimize a game for PC, and the beta just isn't ready for that sort of testing. And also, they don't want professional or amateur data miners picking out their secrets from the game code, you know, once they have the beta game code, because once you give it to them, it's out there, it's in the wild. But I have a feeling, and this is just me being a pessimist, that this basically says, I'm not buying that game on release.
Not buying that game ever.
Because it's gonna be probably good and fucked. If they can't prepare a beta in time to match that of console, they sure as fuck aren't gonna have a PC build ready to match the release on console. So it's gonna be fuckered. Just like the Titanfall 1 launch. People constantly disconnecting and shit fucking up.
See, I thought we already determined that we weren't going to buy any new video games on release because they're balls. I thought we already determined that.
We did, but I was going to break it for Titanfall because I'm a fanboy, but it looks like a bad idea.
I mean, can you admit if it's a bad game? Or are you going to be a fanboy and can't admit it?
Best game ever. Shut up. You don't know things.
Yes. I mean, I didn't play but one time, so I can't give a fair judgment on Titanfall. But, I mean, it obviously wasn't the new hotness because it didn't last very long. Nate, y'all played it, right?
Yeah.
Y'all played that shit.
Nate,
Yeah,
do you think
enjoyed it.
this is a sign of an upcoming PC disaster?
Of course it is. I also think that it's a sign that EA's like, oh, and here's Titanfall. That's how I
It's
feel
an
about it.
afterthought.
Titanfall 1 was thoroughly enjoyable, and everything they're doing with Titanfall 2 so far has been absolutely mystifying.
Yeah.
Why would you not create a beta? I mean, your excuse, though politely accusing us, is 100% bullshit.
Yeah, because how else are you supposed to test the optimization you've done and what you need to do if you can't collect fucking data from the people who test your beta?
We'll get asshole fanboys like you to buy it, and then we'll have to patch it later. Duh.
Well, that's what I'm saying. A beta would give them the data they need to patch it well. Instead, they're going to push it out at launch, and they're going to try to collect as much data as they can and get a week 1 patch out. And it's going to be fuckered.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But it's not going to matter because by the time they get the week 1 patch out, it'll already be down to like 8 players because of Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty.
Yeah, which is such a bad idea, dude. They should have dropped that shit in March.
I would love for a delay.
It doesn't look like a delay is forthcoming because why would you delay a product you don't care about?
Yeah, very true.
And all the evidence points to EA not giving a shit about Titanfall 2. It's like they have a budding franchise. The sales did well for Titanfall 1. It had a little bit of a hiccup, but it had moderate staying power. And it was a good original IP with a good concept, in my opinion.
Right.
And then they were like, never mind. You guys go ahead and make your little game. We don't care. Here's a couple of $1 million.
Yeah, I guess.
Now,
It's just what it
who made
feels like to me.
Titanfall?
Respawn.
Who made it? Okay, but it's being released by who? EA?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, aren't they? Who's doing Battlefront or Battlefield and Call of Duty?
Battlefield is
Activision-
DICE,
Activision
published by EA, and Infinite Warfare is Infinity Ward,
Activision,
published by
right?
Activision. Right?
Yeah. Okay. But the whole point of that was one of those two companies releasing one of those two games, the same company that is releasing Titanfall, which it is.
Right.
EA is publishing Titanfall and
Okay.
and Battlefield.
Well, EA, can't you talk to your people? Stop being fucking retarded.
That's what
I'm so confused. Why would you dare drop a shooter of any kind in between the two main shooters of the last decade? That makes no sense. Y'all are retarded. I know. We had this conversation before.
We did.
Y'all, you're retarded. Yeah,
so
they're retarded.
I'm going to change directions and tell you guys something that gives me a little bit of faith in something I hate. I went to Respawn Entertainment's homepage because I was trying to see if I could remember correctly, but were they not the ones behind Modern Warfare?
Yeah.
Was it not the programmers?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. But anyway, so thanks for confirming that for me. I thought that's what it was, but I didn't want to say it and sound like an asshole if it was wrong.
Was. Because
But
they fired him and then tried not to pay him and shit.
Mm-hmm.
The second story on their homepage, if you guys want to go there, is that Respawn and EA have, or EA basically let Respawn collaborate with Lucasfilms to make a new Star Wars game.
See that?
And I hate Star Wars, but I love a lot of their games. I liked Force Unleashed. I liked KOTOR, obviously. Jedi Academy. All of those were very good games. The original Battlefront I enjoyed, not this most recent one. It's a very mediocre game. But Respawn makes good games. So maybe Star Wars might get a legitimate first-person shooter that, as much as I hate the franchise, it truly deserves.
So maybe, I mean, because they paid for it and it's been in development so long, they're going to push Titanfall 2 out, hope it sells a couple million copies, and straight into another Star Wars. Put Respawn to work making some real money.
That's what it looks like. Because anything Star Wars is going to sell, we've discussed that ad nauseum. And then if you put it into an actually good game, the potential is endless. And EA is a business first and foremost, so I'm sure they see that.
Yeah. Huh.
I think that everything coming together with what Titanfall is looking like, these are just hints. These are our listeners. These are our just assumptions. But it looks really strongly like they kind of threw out Titanfall 2, like Clay said, as okay, hopefully we sell a couple of million copies. If not, we're on to bigger and better things already anyway.
That sucks so much. Because
only for fanboys like you.
Titanfall did everything that the hyperspace Call of Duties and Crisis and other games like there was another one that I had in mind. I can't remember what it is. Somebody will call me out. But everything that the hyper-future space shooter has tried to do, Titanfall did better, except for graphics. But I don't really give a shit that much about graphics. It did everything. Yeah, it did everything better. The combat was more fluid. It was faster. Your Titans felt heavy and strong, powerful, and your weapons they felt appropriate. You know, the SMG had rapid fire. It didn't kick a whole lot, and your LMG felt, you know, really it had a great push to it, and then all your Titan weapons felt like kaboom, kaboom. I mean, everything about that game was really well designed outside of their, you know, server problems and lack of single player. But as far as the mechanical elements of the game, nobody has done it better than they have, and they want to let it die. That sucks so much.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just saying,
I guess.
all these things seem to factor into them not giving a shit about Titanfall.
Does seem that way. All right, mid-show break. I'm going to go, you know, die of a broken heart.
I'm just going to go pee.